Hello, everyone. Well, it's December 24th. I was supposed to work a half day today, but they said I could take the day off and just take the rest of the year off because it's slow. So that's wonderful. I hope you're all doing well. Well, I don't know about you, but I've been sleeping pretty much through the last 3 nights. So, you know what happens when things get quiet, right? That's when stuff happens. It sounds to me like we're on a timeline, like there's some theft going on, to bring out the close of the year. All right. So we've got our smudge. We've got our Florida water. Let's go. Let's see what storyline Spirit would like to share with us. Hope you got some nice coffee or tea or something. Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. All right. Let's tap in and see what storyline Spirit would like to share with us this morning. Child born. God bless the child. God bless the child that's got their own. That's got their own. I'm married in spirit. Alrighty then, so let's check in with Spirit and see what storyline they'd like to share with us. There's a lot of planetary shifting going on. A lot of, there's going to be an exodus. Those who have been doing mad scientist experiments on, Royal Bloodlines are going to have to get off the planet. The incubus and succubus has to get off the planet. There's some shifting going on destiny swappers have to get off the planet. Of course, they don't want to go, and they would rather just get rid of those who are saying they have to get off the planet. Unfortunately for them, you know, it is the Almighty God, Mother, Father, who are here to ensure that this transition occurs relatively smoothly, because we are coming up on love based in truth here. So the divine masculine knows who are the true divine feminine, and everything else has to go. Everything else is experiencing a painful ending. Oh, we got some good smoke now. Oh, yeah. All right, so in the central energy for the collective storyline, what's going on with the planet spirit? What can we expect? Oh my goodness. Why is the messages being held for review? What's going on? Somebody being cheeky? Somebody being cheeky? Yeah, Johnny, you gotta go. You're just not, we don't need you there, Johnny. Let's just go like that. Potentially inappropriate, got it. Oh yeah, I love sage. So this is one of the things that I really love, man. I set the fire alarms off frequently. Okay, so, all right, let's get serious now. In the central energy, ooh, we got a 10 of cups. Divine love. Aw, you're so sweet. Thank you. It's nice when we get nice comments, isn't it? Alrighty then, so in the challenge position, we got divine love in the central position. In the challenge position, so we've got the star in the reverse. Somebody's challenged because we're coming into an environment, a new cycle of divine love where there is harmony and peace and family contentment. Somebody is challenged or by disconnection. Maybe they don't have any light on, their light isn't on. Maybe they siphon energy in order to seem as though they are vibrant. So that could be a challenge here. Yeah, we got the sun. So you have a rebirth here. And in the challenge position, you've got the star in the reverse. So you have to deal with some folks who don't have a lot of, who aren't healers and who, you know, want your light. All right, so you could be disconnecting from those who don't have it. In the recent past, empress, the empress. So we've got the empress here, recognized, accomplished. The empress has accomplished something. The divine mother, the divine holy mother, has accomplished something. There is an evolution. We've got the Two of Swords here. The empress may have her her guard up. She's making difficult decisions. Avoiding some folks. Yeah, in the near future, we could have some sort of public recognition. Something may be announced regarding that mother. The lens is being looked through. The Four of Swords, retreat, solitude, making plans for the future. Well, we are just about to begin, aren't we? In the environment. Ace of Pentacles, new opportunity, new venture. Hopes and fears. Hopes and fears. Well, somebody's trying to defend their belief system because they have no money. They got taken away their money, or their money has been taken away. They want to fight about it. You got this Ace of Pentacles here, and they're trying to think fast because they're in poverty. They don't qualify. They didn't qualify for charity because they didn't do their work. They didn't turn their light on. They just siphoned the life force from others. So they're upset because they're not being recognized for their effort, I guess. And the outgoing energy, we have a new beginning here. Somebody acted a fool. Somebody acted a fool. Alrighty then. So Valentine's Day is coming. Yes, it is up, but we... Can I not? Why can't I get rid of you, Johnny? Freaking been up all night partying or something. Johnny! The wheel is turning on their... The wheel is turning. So this is a completion of your heavy burden, or somebody else is being burdened with the Ten of Wands. They could be in fear over all of the illusions that they have casted around themselves, bound to that web. Or it could be that they're having some kind of anxiety for whatever they got caught up in. There's travel plans being made. You could be leaving home. Your strength and courage is getting you on out of there. You've done the research that needed to be done in this specific realm, and there is judgment being called on the repetitive tasks of those who have been harming others in order to gain. They're being disconnected, and there is a big tower here. Your faith has been tested. And you're weary, yet your boundaries are still firm, and you're coming together. The earth angelics are coming together in their unions here. And this could happen very quickly. We've got the King of Wands here. He's a leader. He knows who to hire for specific tasks. He's got a fantastic team. I hear there are thousands of them. So he's got a wonderfully organized team here, which could be coming very quickly, delivering death to the devil. Oopsie. Let me tell you something there. Vinny. I do this for myself. I share it as a courtesy. This is not my job. It is entertainment. I like it because it clears my mind regarding the nincompoops out there trying to tear other people down. I do this as a service to help people understand where we are at planetarily. Now, I'd like to just block you, Vinny, because you're just a little twit and you don't need to be here. Thank you. Goodbye. Yeah. So what we got here, so we've got the King of Wands, and his team is bringing death to the devil, who have been fighting over this territory. The Emperor is here in control of that foundation, and we've got the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles right here managing the wealth, looking over it. We've got the Queen of Wands here, divine feminine, and her passion for her life And the life that she brings into this realm is bringing a close to this abusive cycle. They're releasing the baggage and moving into new love. Yeah. This magician, whoever this magician was that's been playing with the minds of the people, is in regret because justice is here. The law of cause and effect. They're going to receive their mirror. They're being divorced out of the Ten of Pentacles, out of the wealth of the family that belongs here. The High Priestess is letting them go from her charity. She's letting them go. They're not going to receive the charity, and they're very, very upset. And that's what happened last time. You've got the High Priestess here. She's here to support the life. She's a planetary stabilizer. She's here to support life, to make sure that everything goes smoothly for families. And then you got these little twits, these little devils out there that are very foul, and they feel that they deserve what it is she has. So because they're thieves, they're pirates, and that's just the way they are. They thieve and they pirate, and they like to RAPE everything. So that's how they run. We got two very different factions of life, and the pirate apparently likes the dead. So they use the dead with their magic to kind of mess with their friends over there that they're trying to get the reward out of. Hi. Thank you, T. Lake. It's nice when somebody says something nice, Thank you for being a friend. I want to thank you. Thank you for being a friend. So we're looking at, in this new cycle, right here where we are, we've got the Ten of Cups. What do we got going on with this divine love spirit? Total love and support, commitment, alignment. Fake busy, spiritual. Somebody's having an ego death. Somebody's in a downward spiral. You've got total love and support, divine love, and this spiritual guru, whatever. Look at their head there. They're like all twisted up. Now we've got, this could be like a fake spiritual guru or whatever. Somebody who doesn't really work at it. They don't really have the ability to produce anything. They're not really getting anything accomplished. It's an egotistical person who's just probably hijacking the messaging off of other people. And they're in a downward spiral. They weren't really producing anything for anybody. Yeah, your divine love is bringing Mr. Fake Busy into a downward spiral. He's in chaos. It's throwing everybody in chaos because they don't have any light in them. They don't qualify to be in this space. They can't come here and siphon off of people and lead them down the wrong path. They're leading them down the wrong path. They're pretending to be spiritual, and yet they're leading people into chaos. So they don't have any light on inside of them. They don't have the spiritual connections. They're not source connected. They're just pretending, reading a script. Like I said, probably stealing somebody else's messaging since they're fake busy. They're not really doing it. So they don't have any faith. They're in despair because they're getting disconnected from this Ten of Cups. They don't actually belong there. They've been misleading people and drawing them away from the right path. That's bad news for them. Those who don't have the light on them, yeah, they're getting this egoic chaos maker in the spiritual community is being disconnected because they weren't producing anything of value. We're having a rebirth. those who carry the essence of the sun, those who are source connected. Pop, soda, or Coke. Add a QA sticker. Is this, what is that? Is that spam? They disappeared. So pop, soda, or Coke. So now they probably, what? Then the comment disappeared. They wanted me to say that. So somebody just got me saying something that isn't that interesting. Well, let that be a record. We got a workplace affair. So there is a workplace affair. All is well. They probably wanted me to say the word Coke. They probably want to put together some freaking verbiage that makes it sound like I'm doing drugs or something. Schmucks. So the Empress is here, accomplished, evolved. Getting readings. So the Empress is getting readings. Perhaps she's a reader herself. She's got her guard up. She's like making tough decisions over who gets to come into her life. She knows that there are a lot of parasitical leeches out there looking for relationship. Now these entities, most of them are masculines. They're targeting females, looking for access to Empress energy, right? They want to get somebody alone so that they can transfer the soul value and soul memory into their person. Does that come up often? These random questions by some freaking, yeah, they're going to put something together for me. I know they're going to try to frame me in a way. Can I get rid of this guy? Oh, good. There we go. It's amazing to me how little couth. There's so many out there have zero couth. There's no couth at all. They're just out there effing the world with this vile mouth and behavior. It's incredible to me. I just did. Yeah. I tried to a couple times, but it wasn't working, but it finally did. I'm using all. Oh, good. There you go. Why are you still here? There you go. Thank you. He's using all his powers against me. Ghosted. So he's getting ghosted. He's getting blocked. Yeah. And you've got public recognition here. Some sort of victory. Isn't that weird when a masculine comes on your live feed and tells you they're using all their powers against you? Somebody you don't even know? Isn't it wild that a masculine entity would come here and say such a thing to somebody he doesn't know? He's a real woman hater is what he is. He should never ever receive services of a woman ever again. Let it be known. Let it be known. So you've got a victory over the history that folks have layered you in. Yeah, so you have public recognition, the memory of not being free, the memory of entrapment, the memory of them holding people trapped. So you've got public recognition and a victory over them holding people trapped. Holding them trapped, holding you trapped. These masculines, these parasites, they're using all their powers against the divine feminine to keep them in this trapped circumstance. It's really interesting when you see them expose themselves. It's really interesting. So you've got the Four of Swords here. You're making plans for the future. You have renewal. There is renewal and new beginnings. You gain victory over those memories of them holding people trapped, prisoner. You're letting them go. Living in the moment. And that's this thing, you know, when you can bring all of your attention into the present moment and then evaluate the present moment and recognize it as your present circumstance and then build from that space, you know, rather than allowing yourself to get all scattered about what could be or what might be happening or who's applying all their power against me. You know, be right here, right now. Beautiful Chorus has a mantra. Be here now. 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 So you just bring yourself right here, right now. And what's happening right here, right now? I got some really fine, delicious coffee. It's a wonderful morning. I'm alive. I'm settled. Ace of Pentacles is here. So there's a new career. You might be getting a new job. You might be getting a new job. We've got self-love. Maybe you're going to teach people how to see themselves differently in the mirror. Look at that. She's looking in the mirror and she's like, you know what? I'm not so bad. You know, these masculines who've been using all their power against the feminine and her sense of value it's really atrocious. And look at him. Because he wants to convince you that you're not worthy of the value that you hold and that you should just hand it all over to them, right? They're driven to convince people of their methods and ways because they've lost everything, because everything was yours, Divine Feminine. They should have loved you for who you are. That's the first thing the true Divine Masculine stated when they came into this realm a couple of years ago. They said, you know, they should have loved them for who they are. And instead, they didn't. So you're getting a new beginning. They were fools. They were fools. And they still are. Because we're closing this cycle where they're feeding on Divine Feminine. They want to use all of their power against Divine Feminine, then all of their power will be taken from them. God said recently that they had siphoned the energy out of Divine Feminine. I'm going to say the whole of the collective of Divine Feminines. They had been siphoning the womb of power for centuries while defiling her, degrading her, and stomping on her, and covering her in the shame and the blame of their own filthiness. So we got a new set of Divine Masculines who are here, and they have been clearing the space in the spiritual realm. And now it sounds like that's about ready to befall the physical space where everybody inhabits a body. Yeah. So I'm very grateful that the Jezebel is going away and we've got the new Divine Masculines here that are setting things right. They're making things right. They have recognized those carrying the essence of the sun. They have recognized the empresses. And there apparently has been a long-standing feud between bloodlines, and these ones really they did a number. Well, this goes right here, doesn't it? So we're closing the cycle. They're driven to succeed. They're defending their beliefs. They've lost everything. They're in a Five of Pentacles, and we're closing the cycle where they get to feed on the apple, on the Divine Feminine, in order to gain wealth. They got to go get a job. I heard some bloke out there in the spiritual realm tell he who has authority that the rent was $1,200 and he couldn't afford it. And he said, well, she couldn't either. So now these nasty jacks who've been using all of their power against the divine feminine to extract from them their wealth and their goodness, now have to go get a job because she gets to keep her value and they can't tamper in it anymore. And so all of their effort really is just going to be wasted. It's wasted energy that they should be using to build their own soul value. And they'll probably learn eventually. So the Fool is here. A new beginning, a new innocent beginning, or a new beginning for the innocent ones. Yep, you're turning your back. Divine Feminine is turning her back on the leech and the parasite that had been trying to devalue her while extracting the value out of her. So, you know, that cycle is coming to a close. They are trapped. They are trapped, and it's too late. It's shocking news. It's too late for the jackass. They have misappropriated their own life force and will to try to destroy the mother that gives life. According to my own perception, that means they have rejected the life giver and their own life. Those who were mirroring you, pretending to be you, they've been cut off of your mental positioning here. And of course, they miss you. They can't see what you're doing. They're not able to copycat you. And it bothers them because they have a side hustle here of acting as though they are you and sweet talking people so that they can feed on them. God got fed up with these freaking psychos who refuse to let go. You've been illuminated to their stupid little proposals and what they do with those proposals. They put a ring on it and then they sacrifice them to the devil, these illuminated feminines. Now they are effed up over you because they're at the police station. They're being arrested because they were bumping heads and downloading or uploading other people's spiritual gifts, their intellectual property, to their own system, like an iPhone to an iPhone. Boom, boom. Oh, great. Now your soul value is mine, even though they're a Jezebel hoe bag. They have just taken on the energy of through a reckless sexual encounter. So this is what it is. They've got bad credit and they've been masquerading as though there's something other than that by bumping, by intimate encounter with others. And now they're ashamed and embarrassed over what they have done to the twin flames, keeping them trapped in these cycles, the twin flame families. They're in a firestorm. God is like pissed. And these entities, Johnny is one of them, insists that folks like myself and others, divine feminine, you know, because they are the healer, that they have to take on responsibility for their well-being, even though they are the ones who try to destroy the empress. It's like, no, she cannot support those people who have been using love messages to ensnare and entrap her family, seeking to exterminate the bloodline. They're not happy. They're not getting any closure because of this reckless sex. We're saying goodbye to their toxic lifestyle of backstabbing, cheating, deceiving, playing mind games with others, a shady thug, mask wearer. There are legal matters here over what they've been doing from secret accounts, catfishing others, trying to destroy the reputations of others. There could be criminal paternity lawsuits over those entities who had children only to tap into the spiritual inheritance that the Most High God left for that child. These ones have been going in there and draining the bank account, the spiritual inheritance for the children that they have birthed while they hate those children. They don't want the children. They don't buy diapers for the children. They're not there to lead, guide, protect the children. They bail as soon as the seed is freaking fertilized. They're gone. So they're feeling like poop and they're under pressure. Because what they did here, they're in heartbreak because it's over. This their ability to gain contracts, the devil's ability, these codependent toxic people, their ability to gain contracts through marriages with the earth angelics, with the temperance angels is over. They cannot contract, they cannot siphon, they cannot feed on God's family anymore. The devil is what the devil is. The earth angelic is what the earth angelic is. And they do not belong together in a romance with the Most High God's love child, beloved children. Absolutely not, because they're siphoning the wealth out of God's bank account. And God said, you know, when they steal from God's children, they're stealing from God. And so now God is here putting a smackdown on them. And they're going after all these pure, innocent hearts who plead mercy over their enemies, asking them to take on the responsibility for their karmic debt. And they're being vile, sexually deviant and vile. The queen bee is getting her wish. The selfish, stubborn, arrogant, prideful masculine is having massive regrets over the way they treated the queen bee. But you still got folks here on this own live feed saying that they're using their utmost power against the divine feminine. They're all in their feelings. They're running away because the divine feminine has a new GPS. She's not the same as those sex-addicted copycats. So those who did not want any strings, those who did not want to be responsible, their true colors are seen. Love spells, messing with people's minds and their opportunities to come into union with their true person. So, yeah. You may be praying. You may be seen as a healer, as intimately connected with Source, and they have to leave you alone. There's a separation here. They're drinking to cope because they can't attach themselves to you anymore. Look, they're trying to hold on to you, and it's just like, no. They want to use all their power against you because we're closing the cycle on them feeding on the apple of God's tree. They were not supposed to consume from that tree, the divine feminine, the daughters of Eden. And they did anyway. And their little Jezebel copycats have been dressing up in the energy. They've been harvesting the soul value out of divine feminine and dressing up their Jezebel so that they can get entry into God's kingdom and then bring whoring to the land. And that's what they've done. It's over. It's over. This cycle is turned. This is a completion of your heavy burden, and it is the beginning of theirs. They can no longer use you as their recycling system or their piss pot. Lilith was the apple. Eve was the clone of a man who decided it was more favorable to have sex with a copy of himself than God's daughter. It's really quite disgusting. They try to paint it as holy. And then they've been vilifying the original daughter for centuries. Red rumming her children, consuming them, dressing up in the energy of. Lilith was the apple. That was eaten by Eve and Adam. They dressed up in the energy, and then they started to cast illusions. They wrapped the crown of her so that she would be disconnected and Eve would be the messenger, right? It was all crap. It was all abominable illusions. Yes. So you've got a Ten of Cups, divine love here, and you got some kind of spiritual guru who's been fake busy going through an ego death. They're having chaos. They're in this downward spiral. They've been in the community leading people down a path of incoherency. They're not really connected to the divine. They've just been out there, sexing people, getting the wealth from people, getting this weird attention as though there's somebody of value when they're not. I like going live because it really pulls out the piranhas, and, I can't really moderate the comments while we're all here. I apologize for that. I know some of them are quite vile. Fortunately, the system is hiding some of those more vulgar comments. So condemnation. So you've got the Ten of Cups, divine love, the foundational realm of divine union and family, right? The children are there. The parents are there. They're united. They are one. Two have become one. It's like they are this magnificent electrical magnetic system that wraps and wraps. So their toroidal field has expanded, and the children are safe. They're dancing together, having a good time, And then you've got this spiritual guru there trying to lead everybody down a path of incoherence, and they're being condemned. They're being pointed at. They have led everybody down the path of incoherence. They have misled everybody. So they're being publicly scrutinized for using all of their power to take out the freaking divine feminine and absorb her wealth, her happiness. They're happiness haters. I've heard them called sadists recently. They get excited by the suffering of people. They definitely have to get off the territory. They can't stay, man. If you get excited over, sexually excited over the suffering that you can inflict upon a child or a weaker temple, physical form of a woman, then that's just rude, man. You got to get out of the freaking house. You can't be living in the house of the mother and RAPing the daughters and the sons. And then being served by her and forcing her to cook for you and clean for you while vilifying her? Absolutely not. So there's a star in the reverse. They have no light in them. They're being disconnected, and that's bad news. They're being condemned. They are a fake spiritual guru. They have no independence. They don't do the work themselves. They hire low vibrational entities to come forward and do some dirty deeds. This is a fake spiritual guru. This is somebody working in the shadows. They don't have a light on. They're not doing the work themselves. They didn't do any of the work for themselves. They don't have a light on. They're out there misleading people in the community. They have no light. The walls built for protection now isolate, blurring the line between independence and loneliness. Our different visions caused a rift, leaving me feeling misunderstood in my pursuit of independence. Got some freaking robot on there. They asked, just so I can repeat it, some robot came on earlier and they said, pop, soda, or Coke. And I just want you to know that that could very well be some robotic thing trying to get a word, because I never used the word Coke or soda or pop. So they may have needed me to say something like that in order to set up a false document or something. Just to be clear, that could be part of that entity that commented saying they were using all of their powers against me. It could very well be that. So let this be a record. They are not independent. They don't have a light on. They don't do the work of their own self. They frame others as being drug addicts or terrorists, and then they take their reward. So let it be known. We've got a sun here, positivity, happiness. We've got the workplace affair. What's happening with the workplace affair? What's happening with the Jezebel, gigolo in the workplace affair? Those who come in and siphon or cloak themselves in the success energy of a CEO or otherwise. Speculation. Speculation. So the workplace affair is under speculation. Chasing quick gains and ignoring long-term stability. Overestimating potential returns and underestimating risks. So the workplace affair is under speculation. The Empress is here. We've got getting readings. The Empress could be doing readings, providing readings, getting readings, paying for a reading. But if she's an Empress, she probably already knows how to get her own information. Escape. Germination. So it looks to me like the Empress is investigating everybody who approaches. It could be she's divinely connected to Source, and so it could be that Source is looking at whoever is trying to connect with her. We've got escape. Doubts weigh heavy, and the leap forward seems too far, crushed by the burdens of reality, seeking solace in the thoughts of vanishing. So she's getting readings regarding those who have, trying to escape, and we've got germination. So she's getting readings on people. She's making sure that they're not just looking for an escape, that they actually care about what is being birthed here, grown here, manifested here, in order to prevent future issues by addressing the root causes, to preserve the delicate beginning and ensure the future, roots out issues from their source and promotes stability. So the Empress has information. She could be getting readings. She could be asking God to clarify whoever it is that's coming into the territory in order to see, are they just looking for an escape and a freaking free ride, or are they interested in planting seeds and nurturing them? So she's very serious about the opportunity here for her family. And she does not want any of these jackasses coming in. She's got her guard up, making decisions according to the hot and cold, the detached, the off and on, those who aren't on all the damn time, serious about growing the seeds in this territory. We don't want anybody with two-faced, right? Playing both sides. Absolutely not. This is a difficult road, and we must have a support system that is dedicated to being that support system. And they're not just going to run off and leave you hanging by yourself with a freaking load because they just decided, it's too hard, I'm not going to do it. No, while they come back, once you have successfully managed it and then expect you to share the reward, no. No. They come in, they present a problem, or you're trying to burst something, they let you do that, and then they come back in and like, once you've got the gain, and they're like, oh, hi, honey, so that they can dress themselves up in the success story. You've got public recognition here, a 6 of Wands victory over the memories of those who refused to let you go. You're ghosting them. They're not allowed in. Those who are not taking responsibility seriously, no, they don't get to come in, and they don't get to benefit off of the rewards that these people are working for. Unendingly, like they don't take a break. It's always on their mind. Produce, 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 and not for the man who's going to walk away and come back and gather the results of your efforts, but for the community that is benefiting from this beautiful effort to create something better for the children that are there, so that when they get old enough, they can come in and take that baton and then take it to the next level. We don't want somebody ghosting, and then coming in and siphoning out the effort there, and then having the next generation start from scratch all over again. It's stupid and unnecessary. The mother is here making sure that the children have the best benefit allotted to them. And you got some folks in here, these fake spiritual people, these off hot and cold, wanting to come in and say, oh, let's do this. And then they leave you there to do it. And then they come back later to siphon out the reward, to dress up in the reward. It's ridiculous. No freaking third parties are going to come in here. They're not going to come in and make you work for a reward and then come in and have an intimate encounter with you and dress themselves up in the energy of your success. Absolutely freaking not. These men are furious about it. This is how they gain. Now, men and women, okay? Men and women. Men and women. I think sometimes maybe I sound as though I'm a man hater, but I'm not. It's this type of a thing, that I despise. And they're not men anyway. They're not. They got some kind of a mind virus or something. I don't know. I really think that, I think a lot of this stems from, to be honest, I think it stems from circumcision, because I'm not too sure that they're using numbing gels or whatever when they do that. And when they cause such a terrible trauma to one of the most sensitive parts on the body, to a child without pain medicine, that'll fracture or fragment the psyche. And then they do that ritual right there, I think, with the blood, I've seen them. Man, it's so disgusting. I've seen pictures of them down there, like actually sucking the blood off of it. And to me, that is just really, really freaking bad. It's like a ritual that binds it fractures the psyche, and then it kind of binds them in some weird ritual at the same time. It may not happen this way for everybody, but that is where I was seeing it, The first fracture in the psyche for boys happens at circumcision. And I just think that might be an issue, I mean, I really think it should be looked at. Family ties. So you've got a victory here, public recognition over the memories of family ties. Who would not let you free. Family ties. Appreciating what you have and support each other through it all, growing together, learning from one another, and evolving as a unit. But these ones have been taking each other for granted. They've been creating these family ties in order to tap into the spiritual inheritance, the spiritual bank account of the children. They were arguing about it. Apparently there was a woman and a child who was accepted into the territory, but they weren't. And he was angry, and he was talking to one of his nasty jack friends who said, we have a child. And the friend that they were talking to said, you have entitlements. And, they think they're using this child as a bargaining tool in order to tap into the spiritual inheritance that the Most High God allotted for that child. This masculine thinks that they have entitlements to the child's wealth. Excuse me, that's just not the way that this works. You have to become your own value. If you don't choose to become value, if you don't choose to add value to your own soul, then what good are you? I mean, just a thief of bloodlines and children. The walls are closing in. So you're settling things down. You could be recuperating from this hellacious freaking scenario that everybody has been under for thousands of years. Now, the other day, I learned that every 30,000 years, life is reseeded upon the planet. So this has been a supposed competition. This Johnny, or this curator, has developed a genetic species. They did mad scientist stuff. They wanted an army or some kind of a warrior team or whatever that could overtake God's army, their family, their bloodline. And so now it sounds to me like Johnny's family, his genetic experiment, is being recycled because they were using the bloodline of royalty, the genetics of those families that they had trapped. They were using the genetics from these bloodlines to create some kind of a hybrid, whatever, and that they wanted to go to war with God over the inheritance belonging to the children. They marry into the clan or the tribe, and then they start to dilute the bloodline by interjecting their own crap, and then they claim the wealth of that bloodline. They've exterminated a lot of bloodlines that way. They have chopped down a lot of family trees, a lot of trees that were here as planetary stabilizers. The roots were deep and their crown was high. And these nasty jacks came in and chopped that tree down and then dressed up in the energy of it so that they could appear to be just like that. The problem is that they don't have roots. They're only dressed in the energy of somebody who does. So therefore, they can't stabilize anything. So you're resting, you're recuperating. There is a renewal here, some kind of a plans for the future. For those people, maybe living in the moment. You might be in the present moment, like everything is serene, everything is calm. There's no chaos for you. You're making clear, determined, well-made decisions based on research that you've already done. The walls are closing in on the destiny thief. There is no more space for denial, only for resolution. Now, Johnny, at least that's what I've heard the curator called, and that was this Johnny Jackwagon on here that I had to block. I'm certain of it. So anyway, this curator, yeah. He thinks that the divine feminine should carry the responsibility for his family and their dirty deeds because he sees the divine feminine as his antidote, his savior. They like to pile on the karmic debt that they have accrued through harming others onto the caring, merciful heart of a divine feminine, and they want her still as a statue with perpetual tears of sorrow for eternity, silent. So you've got an Ace of Pentacles here, a new career, some kind of a financial opportunity according to your self-love. And maybe you're going to share, I don't know, sharing your own self, your own persona, maybe just being present so that people can see your example or whatever across distances. So there's an Ace of Pentacles, a manifestation of abundance because of your self-love. You are seen very clearly. It's like, so the other day, the visual that I had for this was every person comes into this world and they're holding a mirror for their counterpart, right? And their counterpart, they either throw love into it, caring kindness, generosity, compassion, support, and loyalty, or they throw in all the shame and the blame of their filthy deeds and their hatred toward the person, and they use all of their power and authority to just vilify, degrade, defile, and cover in shit their counterpart. And so now is the time, according to intuitive knowing, that the counterparts swap mirrors now. They swap mirrors. Okay, this is your mirror. This is what you've been giving into the mirror. And this is my mirror. This is what I've been giving into the mirror. So if they've been throwing shit and every ounce of energy that they could possibly drum up, stolen and otherwise, they've taken the life force of other people just to throw shit into your mirror that you were holding for them. Now they get all of that back. They get to go take that mirror. This is representative of what you have contributed to the union, and this is your portion. They thought they were going to leave you stuck with that mirror, and that they were going to be able to carry the mirror that you had been feeding into, the love, the compassion, the forgiveness, the care, the pain, the sorrow, the overcoming of challenges. No, honey, that's yours. That's yours. Across distances, your person can see you. So these are the new masculines that are here right now. They've been clearing the foundation of this riffraff. They stated that they should have loved you for who you are, but instead they hated you because of your reflection. They wanted it. So you poured it into the mirror, right, that they were holding. And they're like, oh, I'm so pretty. I'm so grand. Well, no, God came and said, okay, give your spouse their mirror. Give your person their mirror. Everybody's getting their mirror back now. And it's like, now we get to see who loved who. What kind of seeds did you plant? Your person saw you across the galaxy. The miles may seem vast, but the connection transcends space, and trust that what's meant for you will find its way. Certain events are impossible to avoid, and they drastically shape your future. Embrace the uncertainty, knowing that serendipity works in your favor. Nobody expected you to be love still. Those from limitless numbers of universes, when it comes to thought, there's no space, no time, no nothing. It's like, boom, everybody can read you openly right here, right now. They see you. Because you were not hiding. You were not playing small. You were not suffering underneath this burden. You expanded, you enlightened, and you surrounded that villainous behavior that they were pouring into your toroidal field, and you alchemized it. And you are seen now. And you've got this person coming in trying to defend their beliefs over how they've been accruing wealth by brutalizing the divine feminine, and we're bringing a close to them feeding on the divine feminine. They're no longer going to be pulling off of the bank account of the divine feminine or the life that comes from her womb. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And they're mad. They want to punish the mother. That's this cycle that we just came off of was these people. They want to punish the freaking mother so bad. They want to RAP her gang style over and freaking over until she dies. And then they want to recycle her and do it over again. And this is where their mentality is. And they got to get off the freaking planet. They got to get out of the territory. They're a danger and a threat to society. So you're getting, there's the Fool card here. You're getting a new beginning. You're getting a damn new beginning, Divine Feminine. You're turning your back on this nasty Jack. It's like, no, God has something better for you. And guess what? It's right here. Somebody who hasn't been here, somebody who hasn't been part of the genetic experimentation, somebody who hasn't willfully embraced the gang RAPing of the Divine Feminine all over the freaking planet. And the life that comes from her womb has been, you know, it's horrible. I don't like nasty Jack. Absolutely not. It's time for somebody else to get their turn. This was a failed experiment, according to God. When he came in, he says, this has been a failed experiment. Everybody needed to be tested, and these masculines and their Jezebels, they are a failed experiment. They did not pass the test. They're mad. They want to use every ounce of their power to destroy the Divine Feminine, who is now, they're being claimed by the Most High God, and they're being given a new family tree, a new family. These ones have been abused by this circumstance. Trump card. I just love this card when it comes up. It's so freaking funny. So you're getting a new beginning. You know, somebody played a fool. You're getting a new beginning. You're turning your back on the Trump card, or you're playing your very own Trump card. You've got hidden riches and revealing them only to the worthy. This is reserved power and using it strategically when needed. They looked at this Divine Feminine and they said she was a dime a dozen, a hoax, a lie, fake news. And now they're looking at her reserved power, the power that they did not see or could not comprehend existed. And they're so angry because her power lies in patience. And she uses it wisely to surprise when least expected. She holds the Trump card. And you got somebody out there masquerading. It's so freaking funny to me. It's comical. It's comical. And they're so mad. Apparently, you know, we American women, we can tell this story, and these men are furious, you know, and they're complaining that the Constitution is protecting you and your messaging. They're so mad. They want you to be quiet so bad. Unexpected news. Urgent news, everything. Oh my God. They want rising tensions, engaged in battle, facing relentless opposition. Oh, there's going to be a war in the 3D experience now, and a lot of people are going to go away. They've got their secret weapon here. Unseen by foes, ready to be unleashed, quietly deadly, a silent strike. Revealing the arsenal of the unseen. A couple of days ago, these people lost their secret weapon. Their secret weapon was the womb of power. God reclaimed it. He reclaimed the daughters. And now they're out there insisting that you take on the responsibility as their savior, as their nurturer, as the life giver. They're saying, this Johnny and his little Jezebel crew gang, gigolo, whatever, incubus, succubus, he's saying that as the Divine Feminine, it's your responsibility to make sure that they're cared for. And it's like, that's just not the truth. Why would the mother go ahead and heal that which tried to destroy her? She barely freaking survived. And they're demanding that she heal her and that they remain present so that they can continue treating her in that fashion. And she's not thinking about herself. She's thinking about, they've done this, what they've done to her, they have done to others. And she wants to prevent it from happening to the children of the future. And they're mad. They're using every ounce of power in them to try to destroy her. And God is like standing right there holding a mighty shield for her. Like, bro, Bro, they did not meet the deadline. The dead did not meet the deadline. And there's no exit for infidelity of the false flames. They can't. They cannot keep you here. This curator could be Johnny. Was talking to the astrologer the other day, telling him about how she needs medicine. So they poisoned everybody so that they, get sick, and then they got to go to the doctor and take medicine. They did death magic upon people. There's thyroid issues, unbelievable, in this country because of the death magic and the poisoning that they have done, and because there is thyroid meds needed by so many people. This medicine, they believe, gives them a right to access and command the consciousness and the energy of the temple. So it was a trap, a poisonous trap that they have everybody in. They're being warned here. There's a warning. Firing a warning shot as a sign of authority and control. The trumpets have been sounded just a few days ago. Look, somebody tried to throw your happy ending into a shredder, and they're still trying to, because they're hoping that they can mimic your value if they can get a relationship, a commitment, an entanglement, an energetic entanglement. They need to be seen as you. Yeah. So they're distracted because they've got a lot of crap going on in their world, and they want to come in and they want to lay it onto Divine Feminine. They want her to alchemize it. They want her to reach out first. Apparently, they can't go toward her. She has to go toward them. So they're hoping that she'll reach out first, but the answer is an N, F, and O. N, F, and O. Because they exploit people and feed on them. Oh, shoot. I need another card. So we're closing this cycle. You have played the Trump card. You had hidden riches that were not unlocked until God claimed you. When God decided that you were who you are, then he said, took off the locks of your other gifts, and now those gifts are being utilized to bring a close to this cycle. And you got these masculines out there. They've been tromping and stepping and pissing and shitting all over innocence and purity for a long time. All over the life giver for a long time. That's over. You're turning your back. God has given you, elevated you, and turned on the rest of your gifts, or many of them, and they're being utilized. Like I mentioned, I have slept through nearly 3 nights. Now, in 22 years, that has not happened. I have been kept awake by these nasty jacks for a long, long time. Every night they have their little midnight conversations, And none swear. They are supernatural. They are enough to make a nun swear. They are. I'm not even kidding, So we got the Fool here. You got a new beginning. You're turning your back. Divine Feminine is turning her back, and we've got the Shredder. She's putting the past in the freaking Shredder. It's done. It is so done. It is not even just done. It's so done. It's being shredded. And every piece of paper in this little tank here will probably go back through that damn Shredder. It'll get little crisscrosses, cuts in it, and then maybe it'll be set on fire. I don't know. But the past is done. Turning the back in the Shredder. Over. Because you're going to have a happy ending. And these jackwagons are being warned to stay out. It could be that you have an actual twin flame that's promoting your channel. Like you may have somebody in some space or place that wants your voice to be heard. And those who took contracts for petty gains are now on overload. They signed a contract. They are now responsible for whatever they signed for. They got shekels, man, and now they got to go do the work so that whoever they signed a contract with can continue to gain, and they're not going to get much. You are seen to be high honor and you're getting a new beginning. This button is being pushed right now. It's like the end of the year. So this thing about the holiday parties and all of that, I'd really avoid it if I were you. I mean, I'm going to avoid it, certainly. I mean, I may gather with some close friends, keep it mild and all that. People I know that don't want to poison me. People who don't make playing games a freaking life-threatening event, So yeah, these consumers, these who've been feeding on you and your savings, your effort, they're getting bad freaking news. They were peeping upon the gift in order to be seen as successful. Money worship. They were peeping in on the gift. They were stealing intellectual property, and they were saying that information was their own, and they were creating businesses and identities off of that, and they were profiting off of it. And so now there's a lot of evaluation going on, and they may have to push a freaking boulder up the mountain forever, because what they were was a mask, and they fell into a trap. They were trapping people with oaths, with marriage contracts. They're in trouble, man. They're in trouble. God don't like nasty. God don't like nasty. God don't like nasty. Oh, look at that. I got a card in here that, I got many cards in here that weren't supposed to be in there. Oh, holy moly. We got some mix-up going on. Well, we're just going to play with it like it is. How about if we do that? Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you spending time. So we got the 10 of Cups here. The foundation of divine love is condemning these fake spiritual advisors. They're going in a downward spiral. They're being condemned. Public scrutiny. They led people down a path of incoherence. They steered them wrong. And now we're getting a new beginning. They're under condemnation. We're getting a new beginning. The star is here. They have no light on. There's no light. There was no source connection. They were leading people down a path of incoherency according to their own, Hierophant reversed ways, their own toxic hypocrisy. So they're being disconnected. That's bad news. They're not independent. They're not able to manage themselves well. They probably can't sit in a room by themselves for 3 months without going stir crazy. They're not able to manage themselves. Uh-oh. Well, one came out. So, yeah, okay. So they're in a star reversed energy. They got some bad freaking news. They're not seen as independent. So they're not able to stand on their own 2 feet. They're not a good match for somebody who can. They are still in a state of codependency. They're not able to step up and get the freaking job done on their own tenacity. They cannot do it. They siphon off of others and their energy. So they have no sixth sense. And that's the end of their opportunity. It's the end of their opportunity. They didn't do the work. They didn't become self-sufficient. They used others and brutalized others and gained pleasure out of their suffering. I know that the divine feminine is merciful. She prays for those who, for her enemies, for those who have done wrong in life. It's very honorable. But rather me, myself, and I'm not going to suggest to anybody else, but right now where they're getting delivered the karmic debt that they have accrued. God said, with a voice that rumbled through my soul and nearly had me exit body, that they will get what they deserve. I'm not getting in the way of that. Johnny comes up, or the curator comes up, demanding that divine feminine take responsibility and save them, nurture them, heal them, help them get through this. God said no. He's closing the cycle of them feeding and taking advantage of the kind-heartedness and the love and the gentleness and the willing to nurture and care for and uplift life. You know, the mother has been too forgiving. She has taken centuries of trauma off the shoulders of these irresponsible beings that have no connection to source. She's been doing all of the work, tending to the children, while this masculine pretends to be a fake spiritual guru, siphoning energy off of people, creating challenges for people. So the sun is here. You got a rebirth. This workplace affair, those Jezebels, gigolos, whoever's been tapping into the successful people's energy with these workplace affairs are under speculation for chasing quick gains. They knew, or these fashion witches or whatever, they knew that if they could sleep with a successful 10 of cups person, that they could dress up in the energy of it and then spiritually appear as though they have this kind of value. Taboo, forbidden. Workplace affairs are for infidelity. Tapping into the energy of a successful being with this alluring Jezebel energy is forbidden. It's a crime. It's a crime against the mother. It's a crime against the family. And, you know, I mean, I suppose masculines or feminines or whoever they're having a workplace affair with are probably also under judgment for tampering with the purity of their family unit, their family tree, and the spiritual inheritance that is supposed to be boomeranging the child that comes from this union forward into successful states. You know, you got Jezebel coming in here draining the wealth out of that account, and that child loses. The tree fails. They like to stick skewers in your mind in the unseen places so that they can try to tap into your messaging. So the Empress is here getting readings. She is very intuitive and she does have the sixth sense that the Sneaky Pete doesn't have. So she's looking on those who are looking for an escape or those who are interested in planting seeds and growing a tree. Oh, I blocked at Samby. Yeah, that was a ridiculous little scenario there. Giving me a chance. They're going to have to deal with God because God walks with me. It's the only reason I'm alive. It's ridiculous for anybody to make threats like that. It's childish and absurd. I don't have anything to say for them. And they don't have any rights to my messaging. So we got cool down. We're making a pause. We're going to have a pause. We're not going to have people marrying into the tribe or the clan or the family simply because they're looking for an escape from their own effed up experiences that they did in the previous chapter. No, we're not here to fix shit that you screwed up. You can, if you're a self-sufficient, independent person and you're willing to come in here and grow with the family, yeah. But these people aren't. They're not independent. They need care. They can't come in and care for. They have to be cared for because they don't have the ability to be self-sufficient. They never did the work. All they do is they come in here and they threaten people. They're going to use their energy to call up their little demon spirits or whatever and attack a divine feminine with what little life force they have in them. So we got the Two of Swords here. The Empress has her guard up. She's like, boom, ghosted. These people who were hot and cold, they come in and they gain a contract. And then they go out and they start having sex, reckless sex with everybody else. And they're like, oh, life's a freaking party. And then you get successful. You do the work and you're like, hey, look what I've grown here. And they come back in and they want to touch in. They want to tap into that. They want to tag that profit, right? But we're not giving it away to third-party situations anymore. Reckless sex, freaking workplace things. No, I think that people are going to be discovered, or maybe they have discovered the value of pouring their life force essence into their tree, into the, because look, I don't know if people believe in reincarnation, but we've been going through this for many thousands of years. It has been that way, lesson after lesson after lesson. And the thing is that we're going to have to be reborn into a family tree, into a bloodline. And this is the bloodline that we are creating and nurturing and growing power for. And if we F it over and party off the wealth of it, then we are not going to have a strong foundation to be born into and to continue this effort so that we can learn all of our lessons and graduate and advance, elevate. You got people out here draining the wealth out of family trees and they have no hope for advancement because they have no family tree to be born into. They're allowing these Jezebels to come in and drain the family tree of the wealth. It's sad. So we're not doing that to any third-party situation anymore. Nope, we're going to ghost those third-party, hot and cold, off and on, detached, freaking pilferers of wealth, right? We've got unfinished business. So the third party was going over to the other side, having an affair with a divine being, and then coming back pretending that they were that. But they're not. They're just a Jezebel third-party hoe bag. Hot and cold, coming in, tapping into that energy, and then walking off. And as soon as they need a re-up, they come back in and they love bomb somebody. So we've got back and forth baggage. You're detaching the back and forth baggage, the hot and cold baggage. They go over there, they feed on an innocent life, and then they come back and they say, oh, I'm innocent. And it's like, no, you're not. You just destroyed the life of an innocent one, and you come back and you masquerade in the energy. It's like there's no roots. And you can tell somebody may have a magnificent light, but if there's no freaking roots, if God doesn't recognize the crown, so they were foolish. This card says in the reverse position. Oh, Margaret, thank you. Thank you, honey. That was so nice. Thank you. So this third-party situation in the reverse card reads, I was foolish to underestimate the impact of infidelity. I should have valued our connection more than my desires. Please forgive me for not recognizing its importance. This is the over and back. This is the tapping into the innocent and purity, the love energy of somebody, and then presenting themselves as that. They aren't that. They're this. They're this. And they're dressing up in third-party energy as this. They're not this. They're not that. So the Empress is evaluating. It looks like the Divine Mother is looking at people, and they're so furious. They want to punish her. They want to punish her. They really want to get rid of her. She's the planetary gatekeeper, the mother, the nurturer of life upon the planet. It's the mothers are always right. See, these masculines, months ago, they were telling God, they wanted to file a lawsuit, they want to complain, or somebody up in the higher echelons, the Supreme Council or whatever, they were complaining about, oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. Well, anyway. That happens sometimes. So we've got public recognition. Oh, well, okay. So we've got third party. These family ties will no longer be connected to third-party affairs. We're not going to do that. They were binding people. In the history, these people were binding families with this third-party energy. So they were going in, collecting the fluids, the sperm, whatever, and they were doing binding rituals on families, so that you could not have a family tree. They were chemically castrating the masculines. They were, vilifying, defiling the energy of the feminine. Single women, as they slept in their bed, they were coming in, harvesting the energy, taking that energy, going out and having orgies, and then coming back and placing it on the sleeper so that they would be seen as defiled. It was insane, this trickery. So now we're not doing any more third party affairs. These people who want to come in and say, oh, wait, I want to be loyal now. I'm sorry. But it's like, no, because centuries have been gone on with this pattern. It's a clear and determined habitual pattern. And there are many instances of truth regarding their sacrifices on the other side so that they could come back and appear as though they were pure. Trickster fairy tales using the life force essence of the roses that they were turning into street exhibits. This prostitution stuff. It's like they can't foul a soul value or dress up in a soul value unless there's an energetic entanglement. These beautiful roses were chopped very young and put into this life, and these nasty jacks were creating illusions on this energy, this beautiful essence. And it was just, they're clowns. They're freaking clowns, masquerading, camouflaging themselves in the energy of the rose that had been used as a street exhibit. And they were claiming that they were prostitutes. They were being utilized as such. I wonder if you could carry a whole load. These clowns were going in and dumping their shit into the sexual environment of a rose. Yeah. In the home, in the place that is supposed to be refuge, a safe haven for the mother, for the life bringer. handlers coming in here telling me how to tell a story. Look, I don't think anybody understands. This is a collective planetary read. People are demanding specifics. They're telling me that I'm doing it wrong. They think that I should do it differently. They want to handle the story time that I share. I could not share this at all. I may just stop sharing. I mean, I could definitely just stop sharing. But I'm not going to, because there's people out there who need to hear these stories. And these ones who are criticizing my presentation are these masculines who want to silence the divine feminine. They have nothing to offer except criticism and slander and a weeping willow of an appendage. Nobody needs it. I did, honey. Thank you. I did. I found out, I did not know that don't defend yourself. Thank you, Sabrina. I get, thank you. It is difficult, because in a world where we are, perhaps many of us, I know many of us have been in circumstances which have trained us to always apologize for our presence and our point of view. Usually it is a masculine who will come up and belittle you and tell you that you have no value, that you're one in a million, or that you're a dime a dozen, and that you have nothing of significance to offer. And it's like your life itself came from the person that they're trying to deem having no value. I really think they should forfeit their life. And I really think that their next experience should be required to carry the pain of a mother and her childbirth. I do. They have vilified her, squashed her, and made her and treated her as though she was insignificant for so long. They need to carry the pain that she endures just to bring forth life and nurture it. I'm so sick of it. I really pray for it. I really do. I pray that pain be laid upon these jackasses. May they learn what the mother has endured so that they can have the right to speak their shit. Jackwagons. I have no use for them. They're not independent. They can't put on that freaking hat and get the job done like the mother can, even while they vilify her, torture her, hurt her in so many freaking ways, defile her. She's still got that freaking hat on and doing the work that they cannot do. Makes me sick. They deserve an empty freaking room. They don't have any intuition. They're not connected to source. And I don't feel that the Most High God, the Father, approves of the way that they've been using that made in the image of body and that phallus to harm the mother and child. I don't think he approves of it. And there's no way in the world that I will ever advocate for their forgiveness or mercy. Nope. No. That decision belongs to God. God said they're going to get what they deserve, and I'm out. I am out. All I'm going to do is tell the truth and expose it as to my best ability possible. I'm just going to expose it. And they're going to hate me forever and ever and ever. And I don't care. I absolutely don't care. We got a blind spot in the reverse. So we got the 10 of Cups. These spiritual gurus are having an ego death. They're in a downhill spiral. They were fake busy. They don't have source connections. They were leading people in the community onto a path of incoherency. They were steering them wrong. They're under condemnation. They're receiving public scrutiny for what they have done to the lives and the paths of people, the youth. You're getting a new beginning here. There is rest. And it's because you did not get caught up in a whirlwind. You didn't participate. You can see clearly. It's bad news for the star reversed. They're being disconnected from your healing energy. They're being disconnected from the protection that your energy provides. They're not independent. They were relying on you, and they did not do any work to support you, uplift you, or empower you. They simply drained you and then took credit for that energy that they were in while they layered some vile crap upon you. And you never knew these people. They were tempted by the snake. They were tempted to take the easy route, to hurt people for gain, and they did. So now they're getting cut off. They can't feed on the family anymore. There's no more connections. There's no more soul ties between the devil and the angel. Absolutely not. This is the separation. It's absolutely the separation. We're having a rebirth here. Those beings who carry the essence of the sun are getting a rebirth. Those people who were in workplace affairs, who were targeting CEOs and other successful people in order to tap into their energy and then be seen as though they were something important, it was taboo. It was forbidden. It was a crime. A crime against family, a crime against the children of that family, a crime against their tree, their wealth, and their future opportunities that had been aligned for them by God. So we got distant. They're going to be put at a distance. They're going to have to go far away from you. The Empress is getting readings, or she is checking in with God regarding those who are attempting to enter into the community. Those who are just looking for an escape, or those who actually want to come here and plant seeds and then grow them, nurture them in a good way so that they benefit the family and the community. We're cooling down. We're bringing a pause to this previous chapter. Struggle. So we're bringing a pause or cooling down. We are, cooling down the struggle. We're cooling down the struggle. Those entities who just want to come in looking for a safe place to hide while they feed on your seeds, that's going to be cooling down. The Empress is like, what are you really here for? She's got clear vision and she's checking it out. She cares about her family. The Divine Mother in all of her aspects care about the creation that comes from her womb. It's important. And they've been treated as though it has no value for a long, long time. So the mother is putting up her guard. Those who are hot and cold are getting detached. We're not dealing with these third-party situations that play energy games, going into the shadow to do a sacrifice of a pure being and then coming back into the light to pretend that they are that pure being. We're putting an end to that. This third-party crap is coming to an end. We've got rocky. Things might be getting rocky. It has been a rough road for you. You must decide whether it's worth it to keep going. It's not over. They were making things very hard for people. They were eliminating some people's opportunity to advance at all because they were ending their lives and claiming the soul value. It was just not very nice. They're sexual deviants. They gang RAP, and then they fracture souls and minds, and they harvest. I mean, this is what these entities do. I think some of them are actual cyborgs and stuff. They're not even human. They need energy. They need a power source. So you've got a victory over the memory of them refusing to let go of family. We got family ties here, are no longer going to be dealing with the third party mistress or mister. We're here to appreciate each other. We do have secrets. The affairs, these people that were coming in as a third party affair, just to tap into the generational wealth of the family tree, to F it up, to try to destroy it. It's all it was. Their favorite weapon of war is relationship. It's a real destroyer, this third party crap. People don't understand. They think that because they can't just go sleep with whoever they want, that it's a punishment. And it's not that at all. It's like, if anybody cares about the value of their soul at all, they will not let the snake that's attached to them lead them into really bad decisions. If they care about the power and the wealth of the fruit that comes from their loins, they will not play with that game. They will ensure that those children have the opportunity to become great, so that when they die and they come back into another body, that they're going to be able to be born into a bloodline that is successful and powerful. Damn it. The shadow side isn't all bad. When I was a kid, like, it's kind of comforting, I mean, the human being is germinated and grown in darkness. It's a very comfortable place to be. And when I was younger, I lived in the wilderness. And so my dog and I, on those nights when the moon wasn't shining and the stars weren't out and it was so dark you couldn't see your hand in front of your face, I used to like going out for walks with my dog because my senses were heightened. I couldn't see. I had to feel my way, right? And so it was really cool to be able to go out there in the dark, the dead of night, and actually wander through the forest and find my way home. Until the night that I got chased by coyotes, that is, and then my dog had to fight them off. We were able to get home safely, but still, that was kind of weird. So anyway, there is that. It's just that some people prefer to dwell there and to do shady stuff there. They prefer to vilify or degrade or defile that dark space that is the womb of creation, right? So this dark space is the womb of creation. It's a holy space that parasitical leeches have been defiling. So we've got the Four of Swords here. So you are making plans for the future, living in the moment. You are 100% present right here. All of you is here determined for this shift. We've got walls closing in. So the walls are closing in on those who have tried to ensnare you and trap you. Once again, it didn't work. But what we got here is we're removing the walls built by cultural differences and sexual orientation, or other divides that once seemed unbreakable. There is no more space for denial, only for resolution. So the walls are closing in on those people that wanted you in a state of denial, in a state of fear. We've got grieving and the reverse. You're not grieving. It's like, so we're allowed to love each other, man. We're allowed to love each other. This is crazy how there's been, this different religious kind of stuff. Everybody's been wanting to exterminate each other over this religious kind of stuff. And it's wild to me how, there's no honor or respect for each other's viewpoints, knowing that the tapestry of the freaking multiverse is created by each of these regions and factions and cultures, right? Everybody has their own piece of the tapestry, and they've got to care for it and, mend it if there's any tears, and they got to pour their power in their stuff, their essence into it, and they are part of the fabric that holds the multiverse. And if there ever is a collective that does not tend their square in this fabric, that tears it up, that goes to the other squares of the other regions and such, and starts making tears or cuts into their squares, it's like that shit has to go. Because in a multiverse of people, of multi-skilled and multi-talented essences, that have their own power sources and belief systems and strengths, they manage themselves well, individually and as a collective, and they tend their piece of the fabric that holds the multiverse together very well. And we got to work together without prejudice in order to be sure that when this leech, this parasite invades the fabric again, that we can find it and then come together as a collective without prejudice to work together to manage it. And when that happens, things happen very quickly. When we move into honor and respect for each other, then things happen very quickly, and the bad guy cannot interfere or tear apart the fabric that holds our existence together. It's insane. So you've got the Ace of Pentacles here, a new career. You could be just an example, just by being here, looking into the mirror, you may have helped people with your self-love, because across distances, people can see that you are love. That what you pour into the mirror and what you receive back from it should be love. But you got somebody here that's been pouring crap into your mirror, and it's like, that's just not okay. Look, your cup is no longer empty. You've been recognized as across distances, universally. So you got a Knight of Swords here that's coming into a Five of Pentacles, and they're really upset because you're closing the cycle of them harvesting the tree, God's family, the apple. You're playing your trump card. This is your hidden power that somebody didn't realize you had, and now it's here. Oh my God, we got a competitor. Oh no. They screwed up. They screwed up is what they did. They are really clever. Real clever. They've lost is what they did. So we got the Fool, a new beginning. Divine Feminine is turning their back. She's putting this past experience in the shredder. It's going in the shredder. Going in the shredder. Yep. Going in the shredder. Divine Feminine is turning her back on this crap. No longer will she process the karmic debt for these fake busy spiritualists. No. Is Paul threatening me? Paul, what do you got going on? What the hell you got going on there, Paul? They better be alive. Go public. Absolutely. Go public. Bring it all out. Bring it all the way out. Let it all be seen. The divine is here now, and there's no reason to hide. There's no reason to hide anymore. Thanks for being here, Paul. I hope everything clears up for you. I'm sorry to hear that there's some issues going on for you. For everybody, really. I know that they're making it quite as difficult as they can for everybody right now. So, they broke all their promises and they left their source connection, the one that they were pulling off of, the wealth. They broke their promises. They betrayed God. They promised to protect you, to care for you. And now you're leaving. You're freaking leaving, and they want forgiveness for leaving you alone, for betraying you, for leaving you alone. And it wasn't just that they left you alone. It wasn't just if you were a divine feminine. It wasn't just that you had to come into the fullness of your masculine energy because you had to be that. You had to fix your flat. You had to fix the leaky roof. You had to repair the plumbing. You had to take out the trash, mow the lawn, pick up the shit. You had to pay all your bills on time and hold down a job while these masculines did mental magic, trying to run insanity through you. They didn't just leave you alone. They left you alone in isolation, and then they felt that they could do whatever they wanted to you, and they still feel that way. You've escaped, and now they're reaching out, trying to connect to another notch in the headboard. But love is eluding them. Love sees clearly now. They are here to make life very, very difficult for the shining ones. And you're tired of it. And you deserve a break. You deserve a break from picking up the pieces that they always seem to leave you in. There's an exit plan. And these ones are unable to free themselves from the web that they have weaved. Yeah. What the heck? I got some stuff that's all turned around. What do we want now? Do one of these maybe? How are y'all doing? Should we keep going? Hi, Josh. Thank you, Paul. Hi, Candace. Sunglasses. You know, I wish I had a pair of those glasses that you could put on and you could see who is the zombie or whatever in that movie. There was a movie. I have a card here. What is that card? I want some of those glasses is what I want. You say sunglasses are good? Oh yeah, I want some of these is what I want. Where are they? Come on now. Yeah, these. I want some of those. I want some of these glasses. Wouldn't that be wonderful? All right, who's this? Let's see. Who's being, what's this? Hello, sweetheart. Hello. Rowdy Piper. I remember that. I remember that. Alrighty then. So in the central energy, we've got the 10 of Cups. And we've got a spiritual guru who's going through an ego death, and they're in a downhill spiral because they were fake busy. They don't actually, they're being condemned and gaining public scrutiny because they were leading people down a path of incoherence. You're getting a new beginning. You are not blind, and you did not get caught up in the whirlwind of this spiritual advisor or whatever. Yeah, you've escaped this nasty spiritual advisor. You're getting a new beginning, and it's too late for them to take any action. So whoever this nasty spiritual advisor is, yeah, they lost you. They lost you. They can't manipulate you anymore. You're not blind. They're being condemned by the public. So this star in the reverse is getting bad news. They don't have any light in them. They're not source connected. They're being disconnected from those who are. because they're not independent. They don't put on the hard hat. They don't have their light on. They're not capable of getting the job done. They're the opposite of that. They could be trying to turn the light out on people. They don't want people to be independent. They want people to be codependent. So this is what this spiritual guru was teaching people, codependency. They didn't teach you how to put that damn hard hat on and go out there and push through difficulty and get it done. They told you to latch onto somebody else and make them do it and gain a reward from it. And, you know, not you. Okay, I'm just telling a story. So please don't take it personally if it doesn't apply to you, okay? I'm just telling a story. We've got, the spiritual guru doesn't have any sixth sense. They don't have any intuition. They're not independent. They can't get the job done. They don't have a light on. There's an empty room here. This is the end of their opportunity. They have been draining energy from people. They were tempted by the snake, and they were using people for their life force essence. We've got mend the connection. So it could be that you have mended the connection with the divine, like God can see you. This connection for you has been connected. These people have been trapping bloodlines. And so it could be that you have mended the bridge, the connection to Source Divine, to the Most High God. And now these entities that were tempted by the snake and were siphoning the energy and prostituting the energy of Divine Feminine are being evicted. They can't continue doing this, man. This energy is for the family. It's to empower the family. It's not to empower some F fest, you know, where everybody's going to go get drunk and do coke and whatever. I appreciate the interest. I'm not offering personal readings. Oh, thank you. That's a beautiful one. At this time, perhaps sometime down the future, when everything settles down, I might get involved in that. But for right now, it's just a planetary collective information that I'm receiving. So we've got a rebirth here. These workplace affairs, these people who've been having affairs with successful people, business owners and such, it was forbidden. It was a crime to go in there and dress up in the value of somebody. So you got fashion witches serving tea and coffee to their CEO or whatever, and then having a workplace affair, and then dressing up in that energy, and then using that energy to power their fashion witch magic or whatever. So it was taboo. It was forbidden. And now we've got distant. They're going to go away. They're going to be going to a distant because they screwed over the whole family tree. A workplace affair. They screwed over the whole family tree. If that's masculine or feminine had a family, they came in and they hijacked that 10 of Pentacles, that tree, that success, and used that energy to do their magic with. So they also cursed that tree with the foul deeds they were doing with the energy. They're reminiscing about how funny it was. Lots of good fun. Joking, funny, making fun of people, being led by their root chakra, being incapable of managing themselves with temptation. Being incapable of protecting the value of their soul. Whatever they've worked for to become successful, they have just boop, boop, handed over the whole value, like an iPhone to iPhone. Every ounce of work, every ounce of effort, every connection that they've ever made has just been given away. And if they left their semen or something, they could definitely be bound and cursed with that, and then pulled off from a distance. They may never see this person again, but they have created a corded connection. So we've got the Empress here. getting readings or listening to God regarding those who are trying to enter the territory as an escape route, or those who actually want to come and plant seeds and protect those seeds while they grow. This is a cool down, a calm, and a pause regarding the struggle that is coming to this territory of divine love and family union. We've got unsatisfaction here. There was unhappiness with the way things were going. We don't want a freaking what do they call them? What do they call them? Those prostitution houses. What do they call them? Oh, gosh darn it. I can't think of the word right now. It starts with a B. Brothel or brothel. We don't want to live in a community of a brothel house. I mean, there most assuredly would probably be a space and a place for that somewhere in time, but not the one that this empress wants to nurture and grow the life in. Absolutely not. Oh. Okay, so we got the guard is up. We're making tough decisions. Those are hot and cold. Those who come in for a connection and then leave because they're siphoning the energy out and then playing with that. They're getting detached because we're not dealing with any third-party circumstances that are going to come in and harvest off of somebody and then go walk in that energy as though they are that. They've been making life difficult for others by presenting themselves as that when they're not. They've been cursing those energy sources that they have been harvesting off of, because even though they're dressed up in the energy and using that energy to perform their rituals and their illusions, there's corded connection to that energy is being defiled by the practices of this person who's playing in the energy. It can take one little reckless sexual encounter to just hand it all over, to throw it all away. This is the truth being revealed. It's truth being revealed. So, but you've got public recognition and perhaps a victory over this circumstance. You can see the history, the memories of these ones that have been binding. They've been binding families with extramarital affairs. We're not going to do that anymore, because I think that everybody can see what that leads to at this time and space. I think everybody can see with hindsight the effects of that type of behavior. You have to be willing to both say and hear the truth. And a lot of folks out there, it's very difficult. It's hard to be in harmony by yourself. It's hard to be in a state of temperance energy when you've got all these masculines and their feminine friends coming in energetically, bombarding your toroidal field with this magic, this death magic, this mirror stuff. It's difficult to remain balanced and in homeostasis, temperance energy, while managing yourself and your life well, without help, mind you. Divine Feminine has had to do this. She's had to step into her masculine energy and manage this. And you've got all these other people out there, fail, and they speak foul words as though you are that, and it's not. So they try to curse you with their words. They may have to eat those words because they've been placed into the mirror that you were holding for them. And now they get to take that mirror and go have those experiences. It's their seeds. It was their seeds they were planting. We've got Chaser in the reverse. So those who were not willing to say and hear the truth are not able to chase after you. They can't chase after you. These secret affairs, those who are binding themselves to people's energies and then playing magical things with those energies, they cannot chase after you. They were lying. So you've got the Four of Swords energy here, a renewal. You're living in the moment. You're removing the walls built by cultural differences. It's ridiculous that different cultures have been trained to hate each other, to disrespect each other, to dishonor each other. I mean, you know, it could be, I mean, I know there's at least one tribe out there that is full of this kind of behavior, and definitely your back should be getting turned on that. But, you know, people who are of a good heart and a good and they got value, they've done the work to add value to their soul, to be self-sufficient, to stand on their own, and to really push through some difficult challenges and circumstances, and to remain settled and steady and you know, stable within their environment. They're ready to come into union now. They've proven themselves capable of managing a horrendous amount of interference and lies. This is the Rainbow Tribe. That's what's coming together right now. We've got grieving in the reverse. There's nothing to be grieving over. This is unity. Nasty Jack has called this Empress High Priestess a unifier, a planetary stabilizer. The mothers in the animal kingdom, you can see how sometimes, like a lioness will see another lion, about ready to attack. Say, well, okay, I saw a video once. There was like an elk or a mother deer or moose or something having birth, and the baby gets dropped onto the ground, and right away the hyenas or whatever come in to take a snack, right? And then there was a lioness that came in and said, roar, and chased off the one wanted to feed on this new life. And so then the lioness becomes the caregiver because the mother ran off, obviously. So the baby has to be raised by a different species. A strange phenomenon. These mothers of different species, they don't care what the baby is. It's a baby. It's a new life. It's a soul. It's a beautiful soul that needs to be nurtured and tended to. There are things like this that happen. Now, I know sometimes they get devoured, but there are other times when the mother instinct actually kicks in and wants to nurture the whole and totality of the new life that is within the territory, Exactly. Soul is what it is. And sometimes it's full of light, and sometimes it is vacant. We've got disagreements in the reverse. So everybody is in agreement here to break down the walls regarding this cultural separation. Removing the walls built by cultural differences and sexual orientation. And with the sexual orientation thing, I've heard this curator asking, or somebody was asking Divine Feminine what she thought about the trans community. And she stated that being a woman is not a competition. It's plain and simple. We've got a lot of two-spirited people out there, entities, male and female. Either they're walking in both male and female energies, and some of these energies are, there could be some kind of an imbalance where a masculine might be walking more in their feminine energy, or the feminine may be walking more in her masculine energy, which is what I think I do because I've been alone for so damn long, so many damn centuries while these nasty jacks were siphoning off of me. So it's like, but that does not mean that your sexual orientation has changed, your who you mate with, but even if it does, Being a two-spirited person doesn't mean you're a pedophile. You know, being trans doesn't mean you're a pedophile, but it does mean that you have rejected the body, the temple that God gave you. If you're trying to cut yourself up and actually, I mean, if you're defiling the temple by, I mean, I don't know. It seems logical to me, but maybe I just don't have an understanding because I'm not having the experience. So you got an Ace of Pentacles here, a new career. It could be that a new career, you may be teaching by example how to overcome challenges by adding value to the soul, right? When you got the outside world telling you that you have no value, that you mean nothing, that you're little dime a dozen, nobody, nothing, no, you know what? No. Are you kidding me? You know better. The divine is in you. God walks with you. If you start saying that you have no value, then you're kind of ignoring the divine entity that is inside of you, walking with you. Whatever that means for you, it's your spiritual high power. It could be your spiritual high self. I mean, some of you are titans in the spirit. You're giants. And this may have been hidden from you because I hear, or what it appears to be, is that they've been separating the consciousness of the flesh suit, housing spirit and soul, from the actual spirit in the other realm. So you may not even know that you're a freaking titan and that you're very, very valuable, doing very, very important things. Well, I suppose if the two-spirited wanted to commit their body to express that, then if they were in prayer and getting confirmation that, that God, is okay with that, then I suppose, whatever. But it's a beautiful gift. And, rejecting who we are in order to become a different version of what God said we ought to be, I don't know. It's kind of like, to me, it's a little shady ground there. God says, this is your temple. This is what I have given you. And these are the challenges that you must move through, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a counselor of that type of a thing. So I really don't know. All I know is that I have the utmost respect for two-spirited people because they walk in a power that, and all of us are. But for those who are actually carrying very powerful essences of both, I don't know, man. It just seems to me that there's an honoring of the divinity within self that is of this essence, and that none of it should be cut away or rejected or denied. Sexual cravings. Well, in order to command one's own mind and one's own nervous system and emotional body, it's going to require intent and a lot of practice. Meditation and control. Sometimes you got to manage your own energies, however that is. And I can't say what will work for you. For me, I don't know. It took a lot of time for me because I was getting dream lovers and masturbation dreams. And so I really had to just run it through my mind. I had to program my mind that it was not acceptable. It took a long time for the highway to be built within the psyche, You have to run the thought through the mind many, many times. You have to grow the highway. You know, sometimes you have these little rural roads. They're single lane roads. There's no stripes. There's no nothing. It's just out in the woods. It's a single lane road. Hardly ever gets traveled at all. But if you are having any kind of issues regarding urges that you're having difficulty with, you really got to focus on creating a highway within the psyche, and that becomes not just a singular lane in the forest that gets traveled on occasionally, but you got to build that road, and you got to tell it, you got to command it that this is not acceptable. This does not get to live in my temple, da 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 da. And you create that highway and you travel it all the time. You affirm, 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 affirm. And if anybody comes to try to tear apart your highway, you get rid of the intrusive thought and then you affirm, affirm, affirm. It's work. It's shadow work. Commanding one's own self requires effort. So you could be leading by example, teaching people how to love yourself. You've been noticed across distances. This could be within the realm, within the world realm. It could be within the universe. It could be within the multiverse, actually, because your thoughts travel and there's no such thing as time or space when you are manifesting, creating. You know, the galaxies, the universes are actually in the holy divine temple, the transmitter receiver of the divine, you know, the apples, the God's children from this tree. Anyway, your cup is not empty. Your cup will no longer be empty. It is seen very clearly here that people had been connecting with you in contract over the previous many lifetimes, only to ensnare and trap the value of that family tree. And, you know, they've kind of destroyed a lot of family trees. So we're getting a reset. Yeah, because their values were all about money. So your cup is not empty. It could be that now you're getting the money that had been taken from you. One of the messages I had received a few days ago was that it has to be repaid with interest. So you've got thousands of years. Now, every 30,000 years, the planet is reseeded, but you've got thousands of years of recycle, 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 right? So you're going to get all that wealth back that had been taken from you, all that energy back. I heard God say the other day that these ones had been siphoning the energy of the rose for centuries, and that now all of their energy belongs to the rose. They have to pay it back. So the Knight of Swords is trying to think fast and defend themselves over their harvesting, their siphoning of Divine Feminine's energy without freaking permission, without contract. It was stolen forcefully, as though they had a right to it. So they're in a Five of Pentacles. They're losing everything because they stole everything that they have. This is the end of the cycle of them harvesting off of the rose, off of the apple, off of the divine daughters of Eden. You're playing your trump card. You have hidden riches and reserved power that they did not recognize or know that you had inside of you, seated by the divine, and it has has caused them a loss. It has caused them a loss. You have understanding of what it is that has been done here. All of that information has been transmitted to the upper dimensional spaces and places, the hierarchy, the upper echelon, looking over the planetary circumstance, and they have appointed a representative to oversee the gate of the planet and the life upon it. And these masculines, these fake spiritual gurus that don't have spiritual source connection or light on inside of them, you know, they wanted to command that by stealing and trapping the energy of the actual Divine Feminine, that is that. You are that hidden power fueled by source, and God kept it hidden until this moment. He's like, what are you doing with my daughters? What are you doing with my divine sons? What are you doing here with this beautiful energy that I have hidden within them? Ooh, maybe we should let you see what that's all about. So the Fool is here. You get a new beginning, a new adventure. You're turning your back, Divine Feminine. You're putting this past in the shredder. Everybody who is guilty of lying, cheating, and stealing are going into the freaking shredder. It's just the way that it is. And those who didn't give up hope for faithful, loyal unions that they could build a generational wealth from, So in this new cycle of these another 30,000 years, when you get to build the generational wealth of your tree so that when your form does perish and you have to go in and get another one, then you get to be reborn into a family tree that is powerful, potent. The work that you're doing today with this tree isn't for momentary pleasure. It's for the future of the next 7 generations, of which you may be a member. It's crazy. These people made a lot of mistakes, and they're feeling broken and shattered about this. They don't have a tree. They were guilty of lying, cheating, and stealing from others. They're being detached from those whose love cannot be matched. They're being detached from irreplaceable, loving beings. There's gossip about the habitual patterns they had embraced and refused to change. And so they've missed their opportunity to be with you, because you love yourself and you're still healing from what they did to you, alchemist. And now they don't know what to do. They're confused. They're confused. Because, they got to stay away from these people and these new soul contracts. They're not permitted soul contracts. They got to go into solitary confinement. They got to experience what they put you through and become worthy of the reward they have been stealing. Somebody wants to talk to you. They sabotaged themselves with dishonesty regarding soul ties. They lied and lied and lied. They were daydreaming about being you, this prideful person, and they thought that if they damaged you sufficiently with third-party betrayal, that they could get it. But now they're suffering the pain from that because they were not able to separate you from love. When the whole entire world decided to hate you and dump their shit on you, you loved yourself into health. You loved your inner divine and the connection to source. And you worked on that. They could not separate you from that. So now there's unfinished business here. They're feeling your absence and they're overwhelmed by the reciprocity over what they have done to you. It's coming back to them. They got to go deal with it. They got to go walk the freaking walk of those people that they said were unworthy of the reward they were coming into. Those people that they sacrificed and unalived in order to snatch up that reward, they got to go now earn the reward. They got to go walk the path. And they did it many, many times. So they got to walk this path many, many times. And unfortunately for them, this empress and her person were in the hellhole for a long, 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 long time. They were both set, and mind you, I'm speaking of a pair, but there are units, many pairs, okay? So please take it as it resonates. They were buried in the hellhole here. This family, they were separated and buried in a hellhole, an impossible life path that these third parties kept interfering in and playing in the energy of, right? They were down there in their energy, and you kept having these Jezebels, gigolos, incubuses, succubuses coming in, extracting and pouring in all of this nastiness, right? And somehow, well, I don't know. I don't think you did it on your own. God did it. God did it. God purified you and then had Osiris approve you and then resurrected you and lifted you up into an ascension and then gathered all of this information regarding what has been happening here. And now there's a victory. Somebody has been found unworthy and they're in regret over what they did. Wish they could right their wrongs. They're running away. They ran away. They neglected you. They hurt you. They found it fun. And now they want forgiveness for this passion project that made so much dis-ease in the world. Crazy. This reflection. Being away from you has allowed me to gain an understanding about commitment and responsibility. So they're going to have to gain an understanding over the value of this and becoming worthy of it. This is an unexpected outcome. They did not plant their roots. They did not do their shadow work and then lift their crown up into the heavens. They didn't do it. They were too busy trying to tear other people down, destroy their trees, and siphon their wealth. So now their destiny is in the shadow side. You're getting a reunion because they didn't appreciate the beauty that you offered. And this is the beginning of the new chapter. Micro, macro, micro, macro. Your father is real and so is the mother. So is the mother. The one they tried to turn into a statue of perpetual sorrow? Yeah. She's real too. Absolutely. Are you tired yet? So, 10 of Cups, spiritual guru, being fake busy, leading people down a path of incoherency. They're being condemned and publicly scrutinized. You're getting to rest from this. We're putting an end to this. You're going on a new journey, a new beginning. You're not blind. You didn't get caught up in this web of deceit here from this fake guru. You have escaped their trap. It's time for your escape. It's too late for them to take any action. They're upset. What they were doing was forbidden. They were feeding on you. They were feeding on divine feminine. And it was forbidden. This person who is a star reversed is getting disconnected from the light of the mother. This is bad news. This is the mother. She does all the work, and they did their best to flip her into south node, to turn out her light and to F her up and to take her position. They have failed. They are not able to get the job done on themselves. Or by themselves. They do not have the ability. They led everybody down a path of incoherency. The room is now empty. They have no more audience. It is clear that they don't have a sixth sense. The clairs, the gifts that they were portraying themselves as having were coming from the trapped roses. They were tempted by the snake. They were tempted by the snake. They want to mend the connection with you. They were doing the forbidden. Flight. This is I heard this curator character telling folks that there was somebody telling the astrologer, the curator went to go see the astrologer, told the astrologer that this empress needed medicine. And the astrologer told them that she passed all of her tests and learned all of her lessons, and there isn't any way that he can keep her here. He's very furious. They want to do an unaliving, a torturing and an unaliving. They want the genetics of this woman to seed their new experience. But their relationship with batteries is over. It is actually forbidden. They will never, ever, ever obtain this woman. Any of these divine feminines that God has claimed? Absolutely not. Nope, nope, nope. Because they're being lifted off the planet. The divine feminines, the apples of God's eye, this tree they were not supposed to siphon, harvest, eat off of, they're being removed. It could be that you are the goat. It could be that the goat is, take it as it freaking resonates, okay? Because I heard somebody talking about the goat the other day. Take it as it resonates. The beautiful thing, you know how this realm, or the masculines of this realm, so they don't like the canine because dogs actually protect children and women and their families. And the pit bull is a very gentle creature. The soul of a pit bull, I mean, they actually cry real tears when their parents leave the house on vacation or whatever. I babysat for one, man. That poor little soul, it cried for days. Poor little thing. So, but they take them and then they use them to go fight, right? But these dogs, they're not fighters. They're not evil dogs. They don't want to be involved in dog fighting. They actually don't. They're love. And I saw a vision. God gave them their wings. So these ones wanted to paint them as a unfit for a heavenly space. They wanted them to be exterminated. And God gave them their wings because it was these men who were creating dog fighting rings. It was these men who were creating, what do they call them? Target dogs, whatever. The sweet little innocent ones that have to be chewed up before the fight actually starts. Yeah, these men were doing that to the canine, just like they were doing it to the females, having them fighting each other, jealousy over each other, you know, wanting to drum up some kind of hate or chaos. It's their specialty. So you got a rebirth here, the sun. Those who have the essence of the sun in them, they're getting a rebirth. And the workplace affairs are under speculation because they were chasing quick gains. Like the fashion witch who was delivering coffee to the CEO was tapping into that wealth, that 10 of Pentacles wealth, energetic wealth. And then they were walking around in the spirit as though they were that. And it could be that there was like a Valentine's, they call it Valentine mistress. Which is, did you know that the mistress has her own day? It's February 13th. Yeah, the Valentine's mistress is going around giving people heart attacks and tapping into the wealth of that family. And those children are losing their inheritance because of it. Dance. These are broken minds. They're all about doing the dance. And it's all around reckless sex, sexual deviancy, and infidelity. They use that. It's their favorite weapon of war, this relationship, this intimate encounter. That's what I've heard them say anyway. So the Empress is here getting readings. God could be telling her who's looking for an escape and who is actually wanting to plant seeds. We're cooling it down on the struggle. The struggle is being cooled down. Somebody wasn't happy with the way things were going with love. The way that love was being genetically modified, genetically experimented with. You've got mad scientists out there poisoning them, injecting them with poisons. Now, as a flesh temple, I can feel when my spirit self is getting the needle and getting something injected into her. They do it all the time. Right here on me is where they do it. On the right arm, which is where your energy comes out, right? So they inject something into the right arm so that it messes up the frequency of what you are exhibiting into the world. So there is a dissatisfaction with what they were doing regarding love. This is going to cool down. Cool down. Cool down there, buddy. Yep, there is a detachment for those hot and cold, off and on Jezebels. These third parties will not be permitted into the territory, breaking hearts and destroying families. It's actually not going to happen. There is unfinished business here. This over and back crap where them sacrificing people into the shadows and then presenting themselves in the light as though they are pure. They have been consuming the purity out of family and then presenting themselves as worthy. So they've made life very, very hard for people. And this is the truth. The truth is being revealed. They have been feeding on the people that they've been contracting with. They've been feeding on their very own children that are coming from these contracts. And then they've been presenting themselves as though they were innocent and worthy. I heard Divine Feminine some months ago say that they had consumed their own and that they did not deserve to be covered by it. The innocence, the purity. They ate their own child and then presented themselves as a holy person, worthy of being present there. It's so sick. Their minds are freaking broken. So you've got a victory here and public recognition over the memories of them trapping family units with these third-party affairs. They've been gathering the semen. They've been doing a binding upon the man. They've been destroying the woman and the children of that union and draining the spiritual inheritance of them. And then they've been chemically castrating those men. Yeah. Hey, friend, I want to be just like you. Yeah. Friendship with the animal, the devil. So we've got the Four of Swords here, a renewal, a retreat. You're planning for the future, living in the moment. You're removing the walls built by cultural differences. There's no need for it. It just is stupid. The only thing that needs to be separated out are the vampires from those who actually have the energy. You know, they're going to have to go become what is necessary in order to earn the reward that they have been feeding on. So there's no more space for denial, only for resolution. For solutions. We've got grieving and the reverse. This is the end of grieving. There is no disagreement here. We truly are one. Regardless of what our flesh suit looks like, the soul within it is divine. If it is, unless it's one of these vampire copycat clones that look like. So the Ace of Pentacles, you're going on a new venture, getting a new opportunity, or perhaps you're just getting some opportunity because of your self-love, because of the love that you have been pouring into the mirror. The mirror, like I said, it's like a lot of people have been holding up mirrors. They've been doing mirror magic and they've been dumping in some vile shit while holding a mirror for you. And you're pouring out love and support and acceptance and kindness and mercy, you know? So this is your mirror. Everybody that was holding a mirror for you, dumping shit into your mirror, they all have to give you back your mirror, which is this. I love you. We are good. Positive affirmations. We got this. We can do this. Da, 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 da. You're pretty, you know, regardless of the world hating you, you're worthy. And you've been noticed across distances, across lands, across universes, maybe. Your cup is not empty. Your cup is not going to be emptied by those whose values are all about money, those whose values are too different from your own. They can no longer empty your cup. You are seen as high value. The love is coming from you, and people have been draining it out and dressing up in it, pretending that it belongs to them. It's so weird. And then they demand that it does belong to them. They're so furious that they can't siphon your love and be covered in it and seen as that. They're mad and they're out there presenting themselves as their true self now. Give it, you know. They're look, they can't fight. They can't fight this. There's no more fighting. These people whose values are too different from yours, They cannot fight it. They can no longer empty your cup. They can no longer feed on you. This Knight of Swords is trying to think fast and defend their belief system. Hey, thank you, Katarina. Thank you, Katarina. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate it. So, and thank you all for being here. Please know that donating to the channel isn't necessary. I appreciate you sharing the storyline with me. I appreciate you just taking it with a grain of salt or with more than that if it presents itself to you. And I do appreciate the fact that, you know, more of you are nice than the others who are not. You know, I appreciate it very much. So anyway, he's trying to defend his belief systems because he's lost all of the wealth that he was gaining off of feeding on the apple from God's tree. Look. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to swear. Oh my gosh. Spam. Freaking spam artist. Trying to interfere with our story time. So yeah, all right. So they their lies are revealed. They cannot lie anymore. They were pulling up phantoms and boogeymen out of the book. They very well could be phantoms and boogeymen out of the book, inhabiting flesh temples that they should not be in. No more lies. No more lies. No more lies from the boogeyman. No more lies from the phantom. No more lies. You have an understanding here, and they have lost. You know what they're doing. They're a boogeyman. You're closing this cycle. You're playing your trump card. You had hidden riches and hidden power that God did not activate until this moment in time. And the divine are here right now bringing a close to the end of this feed fest. It's over for the vampire. It's over for the vampire, and they're mad. They're going to use up every ounce of energy that they still have to try to hurt you. It's just what they got. It's all they got. There's no more lies. They let the boogeyman in. Now they got to go deal with the boogeyman. They are the boogeyman. They're the new fodder. They can't feed on you anymore. God said they are the new fodder. They will not be feeding from this tree anymore. They have to go be the fuel for another low vibrational collective or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what their future looks like. All I know is that you're no longer trapped by them. You have a mighty shield. Yeah, these entities, these nasty jacks are complaining about the divine feminine's mighty shield. They can't get through it. They can't penetrate it. They're upset. So you've got the Fool card here. They played the part of a fool. You're getting a new beginning, a new opportunity that's going to be pleasurable. You're turning your back on these ones, those guilty of siphoning off of you. They're going directly into the shredder because you have not given up hope. You've got the faith of a mustard seed. The hope of a mustard seed is what I heard Divine say. They were talking about it. How Divine Feminine has the faith or the hope of a mustard seed. You know, it appears very small. It appears powerless. But the life and the energy that that mustard seed holds is the trump card. The thing that nobody could see. Mask, mask, mask. So you never gave up hope. We've got mask. What does mask mean? Boy, I'm hungry. I need some breakfast. Who are you, mask? Be wary of misdirection. The signs are to be seen everywhere. Who is anyone really? Behavior and demeanor can disguise an identity as well as any mask. Those with an agenda may be those we least suspect, especially if we encounter them in a jovial atmosphere or scenic circumstances. If deception is revealed, it may come in a sudden, piercing moment of recognition. We had known the truth all along. So you never gave up hope for this. You knew the truth all along. If you didn't, your soul knew it because your soul was unsettled, unstable. So everyone that did that, everything that called us an unsettling or a destabilization of soul value within the human collective, they're being found guilty and they're going in the shredder. They're being recycled. That's what I heard the curator said. They're being recycled. They're very upset and they want to command or demand that the divine feminine who has been released from this, he's insisting, this curator Johnny figure, whatever the hell he is, he wants the divine feminine to commit herself to providing them mercy. They want divine feminine to pray mercy over them and to exchange mercy for whatever debt they owe. Yeah, he was called Johnny in one of these other things. So there was a upper dimensional guide or guardian or whatever there, and they were talking to this curator, and they said something like, well, how about it, Johnny? And I was like, oh, so his name's Johnny. So yeah, I think his name might be Johnny, or it just might be a pseudonym or whatever. So what these are intelligent animals. They did genetic experiments in the 1930s and in other spaces and places with these Cabbage Patch kids and whatnot. So they were genetically splicing families of royalty, strong generational family trees. They were marrying into and using the genetics of in order to create their own species. These are intelligent animals. They could be like some alien, some other kind of life form or some kind of species that came in on a freaking craft and they were given permission to collaborate with humanity. And instead of collaborating, they collaborated with each other against and then decided to marry into the family and then to command the genetics of that tree, to siphon the wealth out of that tree and to genetically modify it so that they could claim it and take it away from God. Rewire it so that it's no longer recognizable as a family of God. And that's the sad part about it. This was very intentional by these mad scientists. And unfortunately, these are aliens. They're like these aliens, the eggs, whatever, egg on your face, the alien, the seeds of this genetic experiment have to be burned. God is not going to accept or claim these mad mutant scientists and their scientist lab experiments as part of creation, because all they are is mutations. And he's pissed that they used the genetics of royalty, the royal families, to do it with. He's pissed. This experience with this water demon, this Leviathan creature, feeding on the mental body of divine feminine. Yeah, they're pissed. They're very, very mad. This twisted being, they're all upside down. They're trying to act as though they're upright, but they're twisted. They're upside down. And they were celebrating, sacrificing divine feminine and feeding on her and doing rituals over her fertility. You've got Stonehenge, you've got the rabbit mask, the fish mask, the goat mask, you've got the Burning Man, you've got all of these rituals that were being done over the fertility, over the seeds, over the children of the earth. They were vampiring them and trying to claim them as their own personal food source and supply. They were cursing people, mirroring people, cursing them, genetically modifying them. They wanted to create animals out of the royal bloodlines, and they wanted to genetically splice themselves into those bloodlines and then claim the heritage. So we've got the call. It could be that the cat heard your call. It's been said that they sacrificed the daughter of a lion, and then that bridge carried that information to the father of this daughter, and yeah, the cat got the call. The truth has been revealed, what they've been doing on party night to the females and to the sons. You guys are screwed. You guys are screwed. We got neighbors, children of the night. You could have some kind of neighbor out there, children of the night. It could be that you have escaped the trap of the children of the night. They could be your neighbor. We've got a gorilla here holding on to divine feminine. I own the planet. The planet is mine. I can do whatever I want. They have been broadcasting the lifetime story of Earth Woman out into the galaxy for centuries. This animal controlling the planet. They're so wanting it back. They want to destroy the divine feminine. And they want control over this planet. She is the planetary gatekeeper. And this freaking beast is not permitted in the territory on the planet. They're furious. They need it to be an inside job. They're looking for a Judas. They're not allowed into the territory. So they need to try to find a Judas, somebody who will lead this empress into a space or place where they can do a thing to her. They need to unalive her, and then they need to do the bump. They need to download the value of her soul, her rainbow covenant, her mental memories, and all of this stuff, her identity, into one of their chosen ones, and then send them back into the territory. So this empress, divine feminine, needs to be very, very careful. They've been utilizing the younger masculines. They've been pushing in on them. I had a visual of these two men kind of standing and hovering over a younger masculine, and they were pushing in on them, their thoughts and ideas about this empress and about how they needed to lure her back to them because they can't come for her. They need her to come to them. And they've been programming these youngers within the territory to bring her there. They've been forcing in their own mindset and energy onto the younger masculine. So be very careful over anybody who comes to you and says they have something over here they need to show you, okay? Yeah. Just be careful, especially toward the end of this year, you know, because there's a lot of, it seems to be like intense desperation. It's like the death throes or whatever, you know, the cycle is closing. And these guys are very, very serious about obtaining a woman. It's crazy. Well, we've been on here for a while. I've been talking a long time. It's almost noon. 178 minutes. Yeah, it's been, geez, over a couple hours. I think I better just go ahead and sign out. I wish you all a fabulous day. I hope there are no hiccups. If there are hiccups, may they be cured by a spoonful of sugar. I've heard that works. See you all later, everybody. Be blessed. Be blessed. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.